Have two former graduates from the Primary Education Studies course. And we're talking today a little bit about placement, a little bit about year 3, a bit about Pgce Applications, and just a bit of a catch up as well. So just to start on our left, my left, we've got Calum. Do you mind just introducing yourself and maybe where you're working today?
I'm Calum. I'm working in a year 5 class. I did the primary education course and then I went and did my PGCE in England.
Okay, you're saying that as if it's a bad thing. It's like a confession. Okay.
I'm English. So.
Yeah.
But he came back to Wales.
He did. Okay. So you're advertising well there. Pencoy Primary, you're working now?
Pencoy Primary, yeah. Went there for my placement when I was at uni, and yeah, I've ended up back there. So yeah.
What class are you teaching?
Year 5. So year 5. It's a massive school, so there's another year 5 class as well. So it's just a lovely school. Yeah, really love it, to be honest. So yeah.
Okay, Rhia, tell us a bit about you.
I'm Rhia, and I did the same course as Calum. We met on the degree with Nick, and then I went on to do my PGC at Cardiff Met. So I stayed in the same place, which was great. And I got a job in Ynys Primary School, which is actually Aberfan Primary, in the Aberfan Valleys, which is fantastic, in a reception class teaching 40 very small children.
We were just laughing a minute ago because you trained on your placement through Key Stage 2, and this is a bit of a wake-up call now.
Yeah, it is. I'm very glad it's Saturday. I'm very tired. It's a total different job. It's I did year 3 and year 6 for placements, and always had your Key Stage 2 experience. So reception is a shock.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to start off because we talked a little bit about the importance of placements just when we were chatting in the week. You guys did a lot of experience in schools. Why do you think it's important? Why did you personally think it was important to go into schools?
Should I go first, Rhia?
Go for it, Cal.
So for me, it was really important because so we had to do less hours than you do now, but I carried my placement on for another year and a half, I think, until COVID broke out. So I had to leave placement then, but that's actually where I work now. So they called me up when I was looking for a job and said, we've got some openings. Would you like to apply? So it's really important to make your mark in a school because they're going to remember that. And I'd say one of my biggest things is you can be the world's best teacher, but they're looking for someone to fit into your team as well, to make sure you're sociable in the school and make your presence known, and just simple things like making sure you're turning up on time and communicating and stuff like that. So yeah, placement for me it's how I got my job, so it's really important to me.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was just chatting to a head teacher this week, and they were saying it's almost like a try before you buy. I mean, education's so small; they almost see you what you're like in the school environment. So yeah, definitely amazing tips there. Really, like if you're not turning up on time, if you're looking at your phone, if you're not engaged with the learners, then they're probably not going to ask you back. And I mean, they asked you back for a job, which is brilliant. How about you, Rhia?
I had quite a similar experience to Cal. The application process for applying for jobs is absolutely brutal. It's so difficult, and you will think, oh, I'm going to give up on this. It's so challenging, and to get shortlisted in a really competitive market. So I received a phone call from Ynys Primary because I'd done a placement in Troedyrw, which is their neighbouring school. And the head had spoken to the head, and she rang me and she said, would you like to come to interview? So I missed that whole application process, went to interview, and got the job. So again, it's from, just turning up on time and being pleasant and just really chatty and fitting in with the staff as much as you're working hard with the children. get to know the staff, speak to them, ask them questions, just really try and become part of that team, because it's a close-knit community. And yeah, I can't believe how many schools know other schools and how many heads know each other, so they all talk. So, really, really try and fit in.
Yeah, I mean, any other sort of tips, maybe on sort of your day-to-day, because a number of the main question I get from students is about placements, like what will we do? Obviously, it's an observation role, but any tips on what their day-to-day would look like on a placement?
So for me, I used to rock up and you just get yourself sorted, get yourself established, and get into the classroom. And they say observation and observe and sit at the back, but that it's very different to what it sounds like. You kind of got to go in, and if some child's got their hand up and the teacher's helping someone else, that's your opportunity to go and ask and see what they want. Even if you don't know the answer, doesn't matter. You're still learning what children do and don't understand, and children's abilities as well. And I would also end up reading quite a lot, so it's really important to one, read with them, but two, get to know the children whilst you're doing that, because you can start building relationships with them then, and then they don't see you as that person that rocks up once a week or rocks up twice a week. The children actually remembered me when I went back, so you've just got to make an impression on them as well.
Yeah, that's really good advice. How about you, Rhia?
Yeah, teachers are busy, really, really, really busy. So you don't want to just be sat at the back of the class sort of observing. It's not that kind of observing. Just get stuck in. They will really, really appreciate your help. You don't have to ask, just go and get stuck in, sit with groups of children, colour with them, work with them, and just talk to them. Be really proactive. Can I do this? Can I do that? Ask questions. Teachers are there to answer questions. They want to answer questions. No question is a stupid question. Just ask, can I go out on the yard with them? My favourite times on placement was skipping with all of the children, using the skipping ropes, because they love that, and you really got to know them, and then you can bring that back into the classroom. And that child gets upset about that, or that this child is a little bit anxious. Get to know them on the yard, get to know them by talking to them, colouring with them, reading with them, and just keep busy and be really proactive.
That's such good advice, really. I mean, because a lot of our students don't come from Wales, Calum, as you confessed to earlier, and a number of our students just struggle finding a placement. How did you guys find your placements in uni?
So my brother's girlfriend was training as a secondary, and they've got to do a month placement in a primary, and she just mentioned it and said what a lovely school it was. I just called up the reception, the office, and said, is there any chance I can come in? And schools will take any free volunteers they can possibly get, because it is a massively busy place, and they are appreciative of any help they can get. So
yeah, and I think if you say, I'll come in and do, can I come in and read with children? Can I come in and do this? They're looking for that rather than, can you fit me in to your environment? Just say, can I come in and be of help? And I've got this time, and just show that you're willing to come in and make their life a little bit easier.
Yeah. That head I was chatting to this week said that a really important part of her placement was just finding one. Like, you learn loads of different skills, like emailing heads, dealing with rejection, going in, picking up the phone, like not to neglect that process as well, to all almost embrace it and just think, look, I probably won't get the first school I try, but I'm going to learn some stuff by doing it. Don't know if you found that at all.
I didn't, because I got into the first one, but I do know people on the course that did get rejections, because I think sometimes schools are so busy that that's something that just drops off their email list. So you have just be consistent and ring around to different schools, and you will find somewhere. It's just schools are just crazy. They're just busy.
And if you can pop in and show your face, do that. Go in, just introduce yourself, say, hey, I've dropped you an email, really, really keen. They want someone who's keen. Then they will look at you, are you well presented? can you talk, all of those things. They will look at that, and then they'll make a judgment. So make sure you are well presented.
Rhia, I'm glad you said that. On presentation, I got asked, obviously by males and females, but I'm not great at offering the females advice on attire, what to wear, a placement. So that's the one thing they asked me, and I'm just like, could you help them out
we
there?
have seen you in a lecture in female attire.
True.
Yeah.
Do not pull that one.
With a bowl cap, I think you've seen as well.
Okay. Any advice then for girls?
Well, I spent all summer updating my wardrobe, very exciting, and lovely dresses and everything. And now I'm in a pair of funky trainers and trousers because I am permanently in glue, glitter, and on the floor. So you want to be, if you are sort of nursery reception, you're going down there, you have to look smart. That is bottom line. If you're going into a school, you're a professional, you have to look smart. But you also have to be comfortable, because you are busy and you're on the floor and you're busy and you're playing with those children. So, trousers, some comfy flat shoes, smart flat shoes. You could wear just a nice jumper, something like that would be fine. As you go up the years, it tends to be a little bit more professional. I would wear, your dresses, your skirts, you can, so it does range across the school, but definitely smart.
Yeah, I mean, it does change from school to school as well. I know some people that were okay to wear flip-flops and shorts. I have to wear a shirt and tie and trousers. And like Rhia said, the lower part of the schools do wear something different to Key Stage 2. We are more shirt and tie. For girls, like smart dresses, smart skirts, nothing. Just be careful and mindful that you are going to see parents and other teachers and visitors and stuff. So you just want to make yourself look presentable. I wouldn't crazily worry about it. In my placements, I didn't wear a tie, but at my new placement, in my school now, I do. So just go well presented in your first day, and you can change it. Don't feel like you've got to stick to the same thing. Yeah,
that's really good advice. Some schools on supply, I'd have a tie on, but I might see everyone else's and I quickly just sneak it off. And
but you can always play it down, but you don't want to be turning up and thinking, oh, I'm really underdressed here. Yeah,
and it goes back to that point, is that shop window, you're showing that you can present yourself well. That's really important as well. So.
Yeah. Also, be comfortable. As much as you need to be smart, you need to be comfortable because you are moving around. You're on your feet all the time. You're getting loath to speak to children. You need to be comfortable as well.
Okay, I'm just going to move on to casting your mind back. It probably feels like years ago now. Just onto the course. Any advice maybe from year 2, year 3? Any top tips? Obviously thinking about dissertation. We were chatting before. Any pearls of wisdom that you guys could impart on our students?
For me, it would be, sorry Nick, but get as much help you can from the lecturers. Like if there's a session that they say, it's help if you want it, go and get it, because those are the times where I found were most helpful. And dissertation wise, keep on top of it. Don't wait until the last week. Try and get your dissertation handed in on the deadlines because they can have a look through it and stuff. So
get as much help from the lecturers, but again, they're busy, so don't go turning up with the same questions that you had last time and wasting precious time. If they give you advice, do it, take that away, and then come back with something new, because anyone is willing to give you as much help as possible, but not if you're not putting the work in.
I mean, what you did really well, you're both in my dissertation group, was you just kept up communication. So I got to know your topic really well. You each other knew each other's topics really well because you were sharing so well in the group. So I think just that constant communication is really important. It leads on to Pgce applications, because whilst this is all going on, a lot of our students will want to apply for Pgce. you guys have been through PGCE, obviously in different institutions. How did you manage doing the application and your dissertation and everything else?
You got to utilise your time. As a student, well, now I'm a teacher, I would say you have a lot of free time as a student. But at the time, you feel like you're running out of time all the time.
We booked a lot of study groups, didn't we, Cal?
We did, yeah. And it's nice to sit with people because you can ask questions. Even if you're not doing the same topic, it's nice. Like, we could look at layout. I know, like, we helped each other out a lot, didn't we, Rhia, with things like tech support and stuff like that as well. So yeah, and for Pgce application, I would say just get it in early because Pgce places do go fast. So be ready for it. Look at it over the summer because that's when you have loads of free time.
Because obviously a big part of it is the personal statement. Can you remember doing yours? Can you remember any tips, advice, maybe?
Yeah, I sent mine to a lot of friends, even if they weren't, not just head teachers. Just send it out and get a few people to have a look at. They would pick up on lots of different things. My mother looked at mine. She's a nurse. I had a friend look at mine. She's a teacher. And then I just had friends who I knew were very good at English looking at it, and they all picked up different things. Structure, just write out your structure first, so know exactly what your structure is going to be, and then just sort of fill it out. I would not try and overload it. I would stick to maybe 3 or 4 really good points, but make those points really well. So talk about placement. Talk about
what
things.
You learn from placement as well, not so much what you've done, but what have you learned from it? Because that's what they want to know, is how much you know and why you want to be a teacher as well. That's massive.
I distinctly remember actually having a chat with you, Rhia, about the personal statement and stuff, and then just me saying to sell yourself, because I don't think as British folk we're not great at selling ourselves, and it is a bit awkward. But you had some amazing, you both had some amazing experience across the 3 years. It just wasn't coming across maybe on the page. So it's just about to celebrate what you've done and not be ashamed, because this is where you need to stand out.
Yeah, I sold myself so much on my personal statement that I was worried that when I was actually going to meet people, they'd be like, "That's not her." So I'd read it myself and I'd be like, "Oh wow!" But you have to sell yourself and think outside the box as well. I put things in there that I'd done years and years ago that was linked to education, but not necessarily in a school, because they want to see who you are as a person as well. So yeah, put lots of different things, and they want to see your personality. They want to see who you are.
Yeah.
You don't need to write something like "I am passionate about," because your personal statement should show that you're passionate about it. So you try and avoid those sort of statements, because that's what your whole personal statement should tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then just briefly about PGCE. Obviously, you're in different institutions. Any sort of tips of navigating it? It is a difficult year. It's a challenging year, as everyone knows. There's Calum smiling there.
PGCE is one of the busiest times of your life. I went from school to play at sixth form to uni to PGCE, so it was a bit of a wake-up call as well. Working, it's not 9 till 3. It's a lot longer than that. But it is a really good time as well. Like, I really got on with my placements. Met loads of teachers that would have the same sort of passion for teaching as well. But just enjoy it, and that's the time to make your mistakes as well. So if there's a few lessons I can now think of, oh my, what was I doing? But you got to think that's the time they're not paying you, so make your mistakes then.
Awesome advice.
And saying about enjoying, I remember meeting you for a coffee, Cal, didn't I? And I wasn't enjoying, and that's okay too. You won't enjoy every day. You won't enjoy some placements. You might not even enjoy, because every school is different, and you have to break that down, and you have to battle through, and you have to talk to people, because I wasn't enjoying for certain reasons, and I spoke to the uni, and I spoke to my mentor, and they were fantastic. So sometimes teachers can be so busy that they can't see that you're struggling. So talk to colleagues, talk to teachers, talk to the uni. I had so much support off the uni. They were absolutely amazing. So, you're not going to enjoy every day. It's really, really tough, but make sure you share that.
Yeah, I think that's really important to share as well, because, you can see on the glitz and glamour on social media. And I remember on my courses thinking, everyone's having a great time, but actually probably the truth is that not every day is that good. So no, that's really important to say. So you guys you're in roles now. How are things going now?
Go on, Rhia, you can go first.
It's been really, really tough. It's been learning. I compare it to sort of learning to drive. You have all this theory. You learn how to do certain things, but until you're on that road doing it yourself, it's totally different. So it's been really hard getting my head around different sort of planning to what I did on placement, because every planning is different, every school is different, every structure is different. So getting your head around their planning, I gave myself until half term. I thought, right, give yourself until half term. You'll have done it for 7 weeks and then reassess how you feel. And honestly, this last week, I'm feeling like, okay, I'm really getting to know this now, but it's been really throwing myself in the deep end. I work quite closely with the nursery the reception teacher on planning, but I've asked them this. I said, let me do all of the planning, let me do all of this, and I will make so many mistakes. This is the only way you're going to learn. Really throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've my team is so supportive as well, and that's another thing, is use your team. They've all been through their NQT year, so they know exactly how you feel. So utilize that, and it's the same again, even if you're NQT, you don't know everything. So just go and ask. I'm constantly asking, but and I always say, sorry to ask again, but they're like, no, that's what we're here for. So,
and it's the simple questions, isn't it, Cal? It's not, don't think it's a stupid question. I walked into the nursery class yesterday and I said, right, stupid question number 100. I said, I'm putting all the new planning in the tray. What do I do with the old planning? I didn't know. And she was like, right, we just throw it. And I said, okay, just check. Just ask. They don't mind, ask everything. And I was going to say about planning on placement as well. And when you're going in and observing, ask to see the planning. That's something I wish I'd done. See the planning. They won't mind printing it off and giving you a copy. They won't mind you having a look, because every lesson has a purpose, and you will see the purpose of that day, and that'll really, really help.
And that's so important for the placement. It's meant to be like an observation, warts and all. Because a lot of our graduates, a lot of your mates didn't actually go into teaching. They went on to placement and they decided it wasn't for them. And that's, I guess, the beauty of our course, is that you don't have to go into teaching. It's not the only path. And actually, some of the graduates are doing some really cool stuff, working with children, but just not in the classroom. So,
and also being a teacher isn't just teaching as well. It's a lot more than that. It's dealing with parents, dealing with families, dealing with children outside of school, dealing with planning, dealing with your other staff members. It's you're assessing all the time. It's not just standing at the front teaching. That's the lovely part.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you guys have been amazing. You've offered some amazing advice for our people on our course, for our students on our course. Any final words of wisdom before we finish up for any of our years?
Throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, and learn from your mistakes as well. If you make a mistake, that's fine, but think about why did it go wrong, and learn from it.
Yeah. Don't hold back, because even on those placements, like I said, just go in that first day and speak to everyone. Obviously, don't be on top of that teacher immediately. Allow them to sort of come in and get to know the children, but ask for the planning, ask why they're doing stuff. Ask those questions, really get stuck in, and roll your sleeves up and just try and enjoy it.
Be your professional self, I always say. Be yourself, but make sure it's a good version.
I can't believe you've got a catch line already. This is brilliant. Oh, amazing. Guys, this has been really good. Stay there for 1 second. I'm going to stop the recording, so thank you very much for your time.
All right.